Hi.
Hi.
I have a question. How to get rid from Apsara's tendencies, if you know what I'm talking about.
For what?
Apsara, you know what is mean Apsara?
No.
No.
Well, you must know what you feel, right? You may be able to name it because you experience it. If you experience it, you want to get rid of them. But why do you want to get rid of this tendency and then this tendency and then that tendency? That's a long way to go. See, it is not recommended to do that. You can, but it's not recommended because you can get rid of these tendencies, but you will develop another tendencies and tendencies that are hidden that you don't even know that they exist, they will show up. See, get rid of the ego. Merge the ego in its source. All the tendencies are attached to the ego. They are inseparable from the ego. And all of it will get dissolved.
But some of them, they are very strong.
It doesn't matter if it is strong or soft. See, you will have to inquire from where this tendency arose or whose tendencies are these. You will have to inquire anyway.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes some tendencies, they are so strong, they cover me and I cannot see even this I am for inquire. It's very difficult.
It's not, see, obviously the inquiry hasn't been understood. So what inquiry actually means. Inquiry is to focus the attention on oneself permanently, see, for as long as we can, and not to be distracted, and don't allow oneself to get distracted by external factors, by circumstances. Otherwise, you're going to use the inquiry.
But it's very difficult to do.
Well, if you want only to complain, then you have to look for a complaint office and talk to somebody, right? Everything is difficult at the beginning. Everybody struggles at the beginning, right? So it's up to you to develop, see, this habit to look at yourself or to look within or to become introverted or to remain introverted. Nobody can do it for you. You can complain as much as you want, but that doesn't make any difference. That doesn't make, okay, it's difficult. What can I do? I only can tell you that you have no choice but not to identify yourself with them. Yeah? By looking at yourself, by removing the attention from the object that the mind is trying to experience, to attain, see, to achieve.
Yeah, some tendencies, they are so strong that I feel maybe they comes to me from my past lives.
This life, past life, all the tendencies are there because of the ego. So if you get rid of some tendencies and you don't get rid of the ego, you will develop another tendencies. The ego itself is a tendency. The tendency to identify the self or consciousness with the body. If you want to go through a purification process, by all means, you may have to keep your mind focused as much as you can on your permanent God or guru, repeat some mantras or something, right? Do some social work or whatever it is that is prescribed to purify the mind. By all means, do so. But at the end, the practice said, the one that is purifying the mind has to be merged in its source. So why not do it straight away?
Yes, you're right.
Now, suppose that you have a tree, okay? Imagine a tree, and then this side of the tree, there are whatever tendencies, right? And on this side of the tree, whatever tendencies, let's get good tendencies, bad tendencies, whatever, right? And then you begin to unplug all the leaves from this side of the tree. Tick, 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 tick. Done. It took you 3 years, right? And then you say, okay, now I'm going to the other side of the tree. And then you start click, 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 click. And that took you another 3-4 years. When you finish here, the leaves on the other side grew up again.
No.
So why don't you take the tree from the root? And then the trunk, the branches, and the leaves will also collapse. See?
Yes. But sometimes exists a very subtle, a very thin wave of ego, and it feels like something very important comes to you.
Hmm?
Sometimes very subtle ego, very thin ego comes to you, and you feel, oh my God, it's something special comes to me.
These are thoughts. Ego is very easy to detect because it is thought. And this thought seems to be I, right? The I consciousness is not a thought. The I consciousness is consciousness. It's not a thought, it simply is.
Is like I feel sometimes it can be the finally thought of I is independent of any obstacles and conditions, and independent of everything, but is separately I.
No, it's not separate, right? You cannot separate anything from consciousness. Everything is independent. Everything is dependent from consciousness. You can't separate. That's the whole point. See, to understand that there is nothing that exists separately, independently from us. See, meaning by us, consciousness. There's not many consciousness. I'm saying us, right? So to say, to explain, see, that there is nothing separate from you.
Yeah, I have this kind of experience when even I was looking in aquarium for some fish, and I was sure that these fish are not separate from me. We are just the same energy, and all the universe are not separate from me. But now, of course, it was for one day only. this kind of experience, and now I feel as a separate person.
Then inquire now. See, when can you inquire about now? From where all these words emerged?
From my heart.
No, please, let us not be romantic. Why? It doesn't work because it turns into a game and it doesn't work.
No, just the place where from I feel.
Now, if you inquire, you won't be able to give me an answer because your mind will keep quiet. So what I'm saying is, either simply keep quiet or inquire so you can keep quiet.
But why the 2 times it's happened to me without any inquiry?
Doesn't matter 2 times in the past. This is gone, right?
It was spontaneously.
Yes, you know it. But if nothing happens spontaneously, then it has to be done consciously. Because otherwise you will be sitting there waiting for it to happen spontaneously again. And the mind is going to be waiting for something that the mind itself will not experience, right? Because the experience that we are talking about is the absence of the mind, so it cannot be present to experience its own absence. Yeah, on the coffee.
You're right.
Never came. Stevens. So, Olga,
If you have some kind of problems with somebody,
me, problems are everywhere. Everybody has problems. So, never mind. Nothing to worry about.
so I think it's maybe this kind of experience is not happened with me anymore because I'm expecting a similar experience.
Sorry?
This kind of experience, like some glimpse, maybe they don't happen with me anymore because I'm waiting for a. Expecting for a similar experience. Maybe because of that.
See, again, your mind is getting out and is curious about something. Now, the memory of the glimpse. When there was a glimpse, the mind was not there. Now, the mind is there asking if I can have the same experience that I didn't have before because I was not there.
You know, the second time when I have that experience, I had a thought during this day. It was a whole day from the morning till I'm going to sleep, and these thoughts, they're not disturbing me. I was as something separate from these thoughts.
No, I don't understand what you're trying to say. What is your point? What are you trying to?
So this experience of some nirvana, or I don't know, some glimpse. The second time in my life, I had for one whole day, from the morning till I go to sleep, and it was some thoughts in my head, but they are not disturbing me. I was feeling as the whole universe is inside of me. Any fish, any stone is same of me.
See, that's a fantastic story of an experience of the past. It's just memory. So to think about it and to talk about it is not of any help. See, you must have it again consciously. And for that, you have to inquire. Otherwise, every time I will have to listen again and again and again the same story, right? Because I had it happen again, because in the past and again, and then how then. See, all this is already a conglomeration of thoughts, right? That you should. You cannot avoid to have them because if they arise, they will arise. But you should ignore them. And instead of paying attention to thoughts, pay attention to the seer of the thought, or to whom the thoughts are happening, or from whom the thought itself emerged. All these thoughts emerge from me, they are seen by me, happening to me. Then let me see who is this me. Right? Let me have a look at it. Let me put attention on it. And then the thought will disappear, and this I, this me will also disappear.
From the start, when I do this inquiry, and it was very easy, thoughts and even the personality disappeared very quickly when I look of them. But now it's very difficult, and my person is staying as a huge stone.
You are more interested in thinking and talking about the past experiencing than having it again now. That's why. And you are reinforcing the idea, the belief, the thought that it is very difficult. If it is difficult, let it be difficult. With practice, it becomes easier. So you are left with the only choice, which is to inquire. The choice is yours. I mean, it's up to you.
Yes. Maybe because the first time it comes to me very easy, and that's why I
Sorry,
not.
repeating again the same thing. See, you're repeating again the same thing. You don't even notice it. I do. So before it was easy, now it's difficult. I want it easy. And it is also I want. See? So it's a mental excuse not to inquire now. When can you inquire? But now, tomorrow you cannot inquire. In 1 hour, you cannot inquire because it doesn't exist. 1 hour ahead doesn't exist. Later doesn't exist. You can only do it now. Inquiry is done gently. I would say even lovingly. Right? It's a gentle, loving shift of attention from thoughts to thinker, from you, he, she, it, this, and that to I. When the attention is on the I, that's it. The inquiry comes to an end. It already served its purpose. This I will sink in its source. It has no choice. If it is still, if it is left alone, without any objects, without any thought, it will merge in its source. It will sink in its source. Thought will arise for sure. Tendencies will arise for sure. It doesn't matter how many thoughts arise. You have to go on inquiring. The thought arise, pay no attention to them.
But it's more easy to don't pay attention for the thoughts, more difficult to don't pay attention for emotions, but the most difficult, to say impossible now for me, to don't pay attention for some body. I feel some pain in my body. I cannot ignore it, you know.
See, I know. I understand that. Right?
How you can ignore if some scratching or you feel a strong pain somewhere? How can to ignore? I try, but I cannot.
To ignore it, if it itches, you scratch. The attention is on the experience side. If you have a headache, you take a pill, right? If
I
you
don't have any headache, no, never. But I have a skin problem. Some infection.
I'm not saying that you will not feel what you feel, whether it is emotions, feelings, physical sensations, sensory perceptions, energy. All these emotions are produced by thought. The emotion is thought. So you have to develop, see, the strength, right? You have to develop this habit to look at yourself, the experiencer of whatever it is. I'm not even saying get rid of this, get that. Just fix your attention on yourself. So if you get distracted from yourself, fine, no problem. Most surely you will. But then you have to go on and on and on and on. That's the way it works.
Mhm. So when the stop the body pain, I continue. Yes.
Yes, yes. If you can do something to get rid of the pain, fantastic. Go and do it. Right?
Mhm.
Take your diclofenac to paracetamol, acetaminophen, whatever it is that you may like to deal with it. Otherwise, you go and have a head massage or something. See, that's not the problem. This is not what is happening is not a problem. To whom is it happening? Who is this I that presents itself as the experiencer of what happens, as if what happens is separate from itself? But this is happening to me.
Yes, sometimes the pain very strong is very
Yes,
difficult to separate from me.
yes, you can't separate yourself from anything. There is
Yeah.
no separation. See, from you, consciousness, nothing exists separately. So, in a way, you are the pleasure, you are the pain, you are whatever it is, you are it also.
It was a once time such strong body pain that I start to lose the body consciousness, you know.
You are going to talk about something that is not even happening now. See,
Ah.
see, this is what I'm doing is what you have to learn, see, to do it. I can see the mind coming out and begin to talk about something, and I say, hey, who is this I that is telling these stories? So you must see that happening in you. Only if you see it happening, it stops. Otherwise, I will sit here, and all of us have to sit here and listen to all your experiences, which has no value for any of us, and they have no value for you because they are gone. Just memory. They can only condition your present and future behavior is you let it. Right?
Yes. Mm. But if I remember, is if in my mind comes some even a negative experience, but I feel like some kind of nostalgia about them. Is a mind trap?
Yes, it is. Everything is thought. Even the body is a thought. The world is a thought, right? We are not concerned about that. We are interested just to place your attention on the I that seemingly, apparently, is experiencing all that. If we do so, it disappears. Consciousness has no problem with anything or anyone. Consciousness is completely unaffected by phenomena, whether you consider it physical or gross, mental or subtle, or energetic or causal. See, it remains completely unaffected by anything.
it's arise some tendency or for to romanticize the former experience as something. I was this, I was that, and
I. Who is this I? That is what we are trying to figure out. Who is I that experienced this and that? The mind can only go to the past.
yes, yes, yes. It's always going to the past, sometimes to the future.
It's just recollecting tendencies, it's recollecting memories, recollecting thoughts, right? And its sense of self is based on that. It appears to be identical with all that. And that is identical, see, with the body. See, I am Caesar and I experienced that and I felt that and see,
Hmm. I feel now like a hero of a computer game.
sorry.
I feel now like a hero of computer game, you know. Is
I feel like
maybe some,
I, f-
yeah.
I feel that you must be serious about that. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. Dimitri.
Hola, Cesar. Where is translator into Russia?
Olga or Alina. Alina, let's give a chance to Alina now. And then we give a chance to Olga. Yes, there is the translator available for you.
Hello, I'm not giving in.
Sorry?
I'm not giving in.
No.
Дмитрий,
Да, здравствуйте, Алина.
здравствуйте.
Можно задавать вопросы, да? Меня слышно
Да.
нормально?
Да, хорошо слышно.
Спасибо. Вопрос по технике самоисследования, то есть технические такие вопросы. То есть как правильно проводить самоисследование. Вот мои попытки, допустим, я только недавно обнаружил, что, скорее всего, я неправильно выполняю, потому что пытаюсь выполнять это как бы внутри тела автоматически, то есть как даже не замечая этого. Скорее всего, что это неправильно. Вот. Если Цезарь даст советы, будет здорово. Спасибо.
So I need some piece of advice about inquiry because I'm about maybe some techniques or something. I'm doing it like, oh my God, sorry. I'm doing it like automatically and it's happening in the body, but I'm not sure if I'm doing it correctly. And I need some guidance from you.
What is he doing?
Можете описать конкретно, как вы это делаете, что вы делаете?
Внутренним взглядом пытаясь найти источник «я», то есть источник «я» мысли.
With the inner sight, I'm trying to look for the source of I am or I am thought.
I thought.
I thought.
And from the inner side, he said, no?
Yes, from the inner sight, yes.
He can go on. What else?
Ну и как дальше? Что еще?
И дальше как бы ничего. Временами очень редко мне кажется, что что-то получается, но на самом деле, видимо, нет. Потому что дальше ничего. То есть я упираюсь в то, что поток мысли, во-первых, огромный, мешает этому, большой поток мысли сосредоточиться. И вот эту я-мысль, первичную, вот источник всех мыслей, то есть не получается погрузиться, скажем так. Даже записать не могу.
I cannot properly describe it because I'm like walking in the big stream of the thoughts, and then I cannot do it correctly because of the stream, and like it goes me away.
Okay, there is a stream of thoughts, right?
Смотрите, есть поток этих мыслей.
There must be a seer of the stream of thoughts.
И должен быть видящий этот поток мыслей.
So it doesn't matter if the thought disappears or not.
Неважно, мысли исчезают или нет.
See, as long as you keep the attention on the seer of the thought.
Пока вы удерживаете внимание на видящего эти мысли,
That's inquiry.
это и есть самоисследование.
Who is the seer?
Кто видящий?
It's not a question.
Это не вопрос.
It implies or it suggests to see the seer, to pay attention to the seer of the thoughts
Это
or phenomena in general.
Это подразумевает, что вы должны как раз-таки видеть видящего эти мысли, найти свидетеля этих мыслей.
То есть нужно сосредоточиться на том, кто видит эти мысли. Не задавая вопрос, а просто пытаться найти того, кто видит эти мысли. Наблюдает.
So I should pay attention to the one who sees all the thoughts, not on the thoughts.
The seer is also a thought. It's the thought I.
И вот этот видящий, это тоже мысль, это мысль я.
Who sees this, the thought I. This is a thought.
Кто видит мысль «я»? Это тоже мысль.
If you look at this thought I, it disappears.
Если посмотрите на мысль «я», она исчезнет.
А как на нее посмотреть?
How to look at this thought I?
In the same way, you see the thoughts.
Так же, как смотрите на другие мысли. И на эту также посмотрите.
You know I am, right?
Вы знаете, я есть, так?
I exist.
Я существую.
Then put the attention on your own knowledge, I am, on your own sense of self or sense of being.
Переведите внимание на вот это само ощущение «я», ощущение бытийности, ощущение существования.
You already know you are,
Вы уже знаете, что вы есть.
and you already are aware that you are.
И вы уже осознаете это.
You just get distracted with something else and pay attention to something else.
Поэтому вас просто что-то отвлекает, и вы внимание переводите на вот это что-то, что вас отвлекает.
Everybody knows this knowledge that is common knowledge.
Все знают, это знание, это такое базовое, основное знание.
It is the only knowledge that nobody needs to give to you. The knowledge I am, I exist.
Единственное знание, которое ниоткуда не надо получать. Я есть, я существую.
It's self-evident already.
Вы уже самосвидетельствуете
So
себя.
everybody already knows I am.
Все уже знают, я есть.
Effortlessly.
Безусильно.
So for the people are more interested in anything else. That's all.
Ну, людям просто интереснее куда-то еще смотреть, что-то исследовать. И вот и все.
Когда я пытаюсь сосредоточиться на «я», сразу автоматически сосредоточиться на теле. Я тело.
When I try to put attention to I am, it automatically go me to I am the body. It goes me to the body thought.
Okay, the attention goes there. But you know that you are the one that pays attention to something, right?
Смотрите, внимание уходит туда, но вы знаете, что вы тот, кто смотрит, куда вообще внимание идет, даже если оно идет на тело.
It doesn't matter if you are conscious of the body and body sensations or even thoughts and perceptions.
Неважно, если вы осознаете тело, какие-то телесные ощущения, все, что там может возникать.
Try not to lose track of yourself.
Не теряйте вот этот вот путь к себе. Ощущение себя.
Когда я пытаюсь сосредоточиться на ощущении себя, оно как будто бы исчезает. Мысли сразу все мыслями со всех сторон. То ощущение, то есть его как бы не поймать. Я пытаюсь сосредоточиться на ощущении себя, но не могу его поймать.
I'm trying to attentively to pay attention to I am, but I cannot hold it because thoughts are coming and it's just like for a moment and then it's
Going to happen. It doesn't matter. It's going to happen.
не важно, что у вас там эти мысли витают, все равно это произойдет рано или поздно.
Keep
Случится.
on bringing the attention back to I or I am.
Продолжайте, внимание убежало, продолжайте возвращать его обратно к чувству я или я есть.
It's not that you give more importance to something else. That's all. You get distracted with something else. That's all. It is normal.
Просто ощущение важности, более важного, уходит куда-то, чему-то больше значения начинаете придавать. Это нормально.
Because it is a tendency
Это тенденция ума.
or predisposition or habit or whatever you like to call it.
Или предубеждение, или привычки. Назовите, как нравится.
My teacher used to say, enchanted by what we see, we forget the seer, which is no other than one's own self.
Мой учитель говорил, очаровываясь тем, что мы видим, мы забываем про видящего, то, чем мы являемся.
А поиски «я» лучше делать, пытаться как медитации или же просто в повседневной жизни? Что лучше из методов?
There is that better to make self-inquiry as a meditation or in daily duties? Switch on the mic.
This is meditation on the meditator.
Это медитация на медитирующего.
See, the meditator is focusing on itself, or is focused on itself.
Медитирующий сфокусирован на себе, смотрит в себя, медитирует на себя.
What we understand by meditation is to focus on something.
Мы понимаем под медитацией это сфокусироваться на чем-то.
A mantra,
На мантре,
the name of one's personal God or guru,
мантра имени вашего Бога или гуру, кому вы
or the image of personal God or guru,
изображение этого Бога или гуру.
or some light that we have to imagine,
Какой-то свет, который надо представлять.
right? Or in a particular place in the body,
Определенная точка в теле
or in one's breath.
или дыхание.
Here the attention is on the meditator itself.
А вы просто раз внимание переводите на медитирующего.
And the inquiry does not contradict daily activities.
И тогда самоисследование не нарушает ваши повседневные дела. Вы можете медитировать в течение
We
дня.
find it difficult at the beginning to inquire while we perform one's duties.
Сначала бывает сложно, когда чего-то делаете, возвращать внимание туда.
If it is difficult or impossible, at least let's do it in our spare time.
Но если это сложно или даже невозможно, тогда просто выделяйте на это какое-то время.
А наблюдатель, он не является «я» мыслью? Или наблюдатель тоже «я» мысль?
Is the witness is also I thought, or it's not a I thought? The witness, the seer.
The seer is the witness.
Наблюдатель, он и свидетель.
It appears to be a seer. It appears to be a witness. See, it appears
Кажется,
to
что
be itself.
кажется, что есть там кто-то, что есть какой-то наблюдатель, какой-то видящий, что есть какой-то он.
The actual witness is the self or consciousness.
Но на самом деле свидетеля нет, это сознание.
It is called witness for the sake of communication.
Его называют свидетелем или видящим, просто чтобы было понятно в коммуникации.
Or to refer to it as the absolute observer.
К нему отсылаются как к абсолютному свидетелю,
Or the absolute consciousness.
к абсолютному сознанию.
But even the idea of a witness also will disappear.
Но даже идея вот этого какого-то свидетеля, она исчезнет.
Because there is nothing separate from consciousness.
Потому что нет вообще ничего отдельного от сознания.
Therefore, everything is consciousness.
Потому что все есть сознание.
If everything is consciousness, it means that consciousness alone is.
Если все есть сознание, это значит, что только сознание и есть, больше ничего нет.
If consciousness alone is, how can consciousness witness anything else?
Если есть только сознание, как это только сознание может видеть что-то еще, если больше ничего?
Are you following?
Понимаете мысль?
Частично. Просто так кажется, что в состоянии глубокого сна, без сновидения, или в состоянии наркоза нет ничего. То есть тело выключается и все. Меня больше не существует.
It seems like in a deeper sleep with no dreams, there is nobody, or unconsciously under on operation, for example, under medicals. So it seems like there is nobody and no one.
How do you know there is nobody, there is no one? Unless you are present knowing And there is nobody, there is no one.
Как вы знаете, что там вообще никого нет? Должен быть кто-то, кто свидетельствует вот этого ничего и никого. Отсутствие чего-либо. Там кто-то есть, кто это фиксирует, что там ничего.
And if you are present, you are present as what? But as consciousness.
Если вы присутствуете, то вы там присутствуете только как сознание.
То есть вот это состояние и есть настоящее состояние сознания. То есть когда тело выключено, остается только вот это сознание, наблюдать вот это.
So it means that when the body consciousness is out of business, then it means it's only it remains as I.
Yes.
Правильно понимаете?
And the same I is right here, right now.
И этот же самый я здесь и сейчас.
Waking state, dream state, deep sleep.
В состоянии бодрствования, в состоянии сна и в состоянии сна без сновидений.
All that collectively is the mind.
Все это общее имеет название ум.
See, that undergoes three kind of modes.
У ума 3 таких состояния.
They alternate and contradict each other.
Они как бы объединяют и противоречат друг другу.
For who is conscious or aware of them is no other than I.
Но кто осознает все это, никто иной, как я. Все эти состояния свидетельствуют.
In deep sleep, it's not that there is nothing, everything is there, but in a latent state. See?
В глубоком сне это не значит, что ничего нет. Все есть, но оно в таком латентном состоянии.
In a potential state, in a seed form.
В состоянии потенциала, в состоянии такой предформы.
And from that seed sprouts, see, awakened state and dream state.
И вот из этой предформы вырывается как раз, когда вы там просыпаетесь, все появляется, все оттуда выплывает или как.
Is he understand anything I said?
Вы что-нибудь поняли из того, что я сказала?
Да, частично понял. Вот пытаюсь самоисследование проводить. Так понятно, да.
I understood it partly, probably. I don't know. I'm trying now to make self-inquiry.
No. I would suggest you to watch this recording, the recording of this conversation, is going to be available tonight on YouTube.
Я вам рекомендую пересмотреть еще раз запись этого разговора. Сегодня на YouTube будет возможность Цезарь выложить.
Хорошо. Хорошо. Спасибо. Буду почаще вопросы, может, задавать. Я
Thank
так
you.
прихожу редко на собрание.
I participate, but not really often, and now I'm gonna make it more often and ask some questions.
Okay.
Хорошо.
Gracias.
Okay.
Спасибо за перевод.
Да, пожалуйста. Cesar, keep my mic, please, open. I have mine questions also. So I have almost every time I have really strong contradiction about mind, and so I lately was listening to your old videos, and you explained to some person that about self-inquiry that listen carefully, but you will not understand it with your mind. So, and contradiction is like, if she is not understanding with your mind, how or why she or anybody should listen carefully. I'm not getting it. If you don't understand it with the mind, so how you?
If you listen carefully, the mind is quiet. When you pay attention to something, the mind is quiet. And if the mind is quiet, then you can understand without the mind, because the mind is still quiet.
But isn't it the mind who understands, no?
The mind is thought. How can thought understand anything? How can a thought understand a thing? The
He
mind,
was taught that mind is not a thought. Mind is the one who realizes anything. Oh my God.
mind, how can an illusory entity understand anything if it is not even real? How can it understand a thing?
I don't know. But who makes all this opening in scientist or creative stuff? It's not the mind, it's the consciousness.
It is the mind, but the mind cannot do it independently from consciousness. It is borrowing the power from consciousness to do everything. That's the whole point. The mind is not a separate entity. Nothing exists separately, independently from consciousness or the self. And the mind that creates the confusion, right, and confuses itself, then it says, oh, there is so much confusion, I don't understand. Can you see that? It is all thought, see? Contradicting each other. I don't know if you understand what I mean now.
I don't know either.
Hmm.
I don't know. So probably logic. I understand the logic.
La torta. Okay. Yes, it is.
Because even, for example, Olia, she was describing her past experience of the glimpse, and you said that you had a glimpse because you had no mind that at that present moment, and if who then experienced all the sensation in the body or whatever she experienced?
Apparently, the mind is a thought that arises from consciousness and presents itself. I am experiencing these sensations in the body. I'm experiencing the world. I remember this. I think that. And all this is thought. Can you see that?
Yes, but the experience was not the mind or the mind.
Without the mind, there is no experiencer. Without experiencer, there is no experience. Without the mind, there is nothing, only the self. The mind itself is confusion. There's another name for the mind, confusion. Is what makes the confusion that the self is the body or that it is limited to the body. So that which by nature is confusion, how can confusion understand anything, right?
Yes.
Yes. This is common sense. This is logic also. So until a certain extent, common sense and logic can be applied. See, if you don't think I am doing, what are you doing? If you don't think this is happening, then what is happening?
But sometimes I have so while I was learning how to read, I was reading in my head, like I'm reading and repeating in my head. And lately I was trying to make to be a fast reader, and I was suggested not to repeat in my mind. And I thought that if I don't repeat in my mind, I see the word and I don't understand it.
See, what you're reading is someone else's mind or thoughts. And then don't think about the thought that you are thinking. Oh, this is, I mean, hello, please, guys, try to understand. Or don't try to understand. Listen carefully, and then you will understand. If you listen carefully, you will understand. But we can't listen carefully because as we listen to something, we are already thinking about something else. See, we are comparing what we are listening to what we think, to someone else's thought or my own interpretations. And then, see, these simple words face a wall of thoughts. See? So it doesn't allow you to listen, right?
So any analysis is useless.
What?
If I'm trying to analyze of what you're telling me, it's useless. Yes.
You may ponder about it, which is different than to analyze it. Who is the analyzer? You make ponder. There is another word for ponder. If you know, do you know the meaning of ponder? Pondering. Sorry, my accent may sometimes make people
Let me check if I know
ponder,
it right. Ponder, yeah.
to contemplate, right? Without trying to
Ponder, I know, yes. Обдумывать, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody that listens really carefully will understand and he will realize it straight away. And if will not realize it, at least will understand it. And realization will become easier. Or
Yes, but I'm just getting back again and again to your story when you said that you met Ratan Lal and he told you one thing and you get like realization or whatever really fast. But
he told me one. I asked one question. He gave me
yes,
an answer. And there was no more questions. There was no more ideas. There was no sharing of it. That's all. He told me to do this. And I say, yes, sir. That's it. I didn't question what he said. I didn't ask more questions. I didn't have more questions. I didn't have any other opinion to share, nothing. Okay. I was just waiting for the moment to go, find a quiet place, and follow the advice. That's all.
but before you got this advice, haven't you heard about the knowledge and the meditation and acquiring?
I heard about so many things, but never about this.
Oh, I see. Because now I'm reading Ribu Gita and it says like it describes it the way it is, and it says like if one can read it once and know it once, it could happen like
Yes.
immediately. But I'm like reading it for a
Yeah.
whole year. And
Now, are you reading it without interruption of the mind? See, that's no different than to listening, right? Without the mind, oh, this, questioning, doubting, comparing with previous knowledge. Oh, but this master says this and this one says, then you are not reading. See, you are thinking.
oh yeah.
So, the Rivu Gita is an amazing book because half of the text, I am not this, I am not this, I am not this, I am the self. I am not this, I am not this, I am not this, I am the self. Right? He goes on saying, not this, not this, not this, but I. Right? So I is not this, not this, not this. Right? But after that, see, the other part of the book, all what he denied as not this. He said, this also I am, this also I am,
Yes,
this
yes.
right? So what is
Yeah.
telling you the book? That the self alone is everything.
Yes.
But we cannot know that unless we know oneself as a source, see, as consciousness. Until you become aware of the nameless, formless reality of consciousness. Now we know only name and form, right? We know only the illusory aspect of consciousness. We don't know the real aspect of consciousness. Once we know the real aspect of consciousness, then we know that the illusory aspect is also consciousness, right? So, so unless we become aware of one unaffected reality, then we're gonna suffer for the eternity. I mean,
Last question.
life may be difficult. I am telling you, life can present itself very challenging, right?
So Cesar, I have a last question. How to make self-inquiry when the life is provoking on something? Like lately I have so now the life
See,
acts like
that's the same question, right? Like self-inquiry has to be done only in this moment. This is the very moment, the self-inquiry is what is going to help you to go through that moment and help you to remain unaffected.
but I was shouting. I was not for sure unaffected. I was shouting and screaming. And still I was screaming and watching who is screaming because I was not unaffected. I was really like I was like shouting like a crazy.
Guys, I know it is,
Insane.
I've been there and done that. Even my present life situation can be a complete mess, completely chaotic. See, on top of that, my car just broke down in the middle of the road when I was going to pick up my boy to the school, and I had to call somebody quickly, go and pick up the boy. And then, I mean, there is 1,000 things happen at the same time. Okay? And I'm telling you, it's this knowledge that helps you to go through this. See, it is unpleasant, right? It may be challenging. Okay? It may be painful in any possible sense. But if we hold on to oneself as a substratum of all that, we may be able to survive all this. So when people tell me about excuses and how difficult, I'm sorry, I cannot buy that. I know it is difficult, but not impossible. And I am not a special human being. I am an ordinary human being. If I can do it, anybody else can do it. Actually, I don't feel myself to be the brightest crayon in the box, right? So this depends basically of the intensity. See how much I really want to free myself. See, from the idea that the stupid ego exists. See, from the idea that there is an ego and that this ego is I. Right? All depends on that. How strongly is that desire? See, how willing, how, see, what are we willing to sacrifice? What are you going to sacrifice but your own self, your ego? Those who climb that climb the Everest, okay, they did it because they believed they could, right? They didn't doubt it, right? They may thought about it on the way, oh Jesus, I better give up, right? But they didn't, and they got there. So my teacher told me it's the same intensity that we put to achieve something in the world, to experience an object, right? It's the same attention that we give to something, right? We put it to ourselves. In a split second, the ego will disappear, at least for 3 seconds, right? And we can have a glimpse of one's reality, right? The rest will follow. Otherwise, believe me, I will be seated here like somebody that is sitting in a complaint office, see? And everybody comes and cries all these stories and tell me this. So what's the point? Am I going to sit here and listen to all that? What for?
I'm just now, for now, I'm start to feel guilt like for wasting your time.
No, please take it in the right context, right?
Yeah, I see, but like
Take it.
I'm just
This is your mind. See, this is your own. See, what I'm saying is waking up your own sense of guilt that it is there, and the mind identifies itself with it, and is using what I'm saying, or see, to feel bad. The mind is, see, it's terrible, right? It's very slippery. This is why. This is why, if you are not willing to ignore it altogether, right? Or even if I cannot ignore it, okay, I will ignore it again. If I'm willing to ignore it again as it arises, then success is guaranteed, right? That willingness, that stubbornness, if you wish, must be there. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
so I'm stubborn. That's a good news for me, probably.
Yes, use it against the ego.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. I'm not scolding you. I'm just saying things in a maybe intense, yes. So otherwise, there will be no impact.
Yeah, I see.
Okay, see you tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, nos vemos a la noche.